Fasten those seatbelts, fuckers. This is gonna be a bumpy ride.
Hey, Scott, what kind of bees produce milk?
I don't know. What kind?
Boobies.
Oh, my God.
This, my friends, is the Swish Edition. From their secret underground studio, this is the Swish Edition.
I got a mouthful for you guys.
Dale and Scott are in the studio on the mics, and they fired up the antenna.
It has to come whether you like it or not.
And if you're willing to show it, they'll take a picture of it.
I actually think I might throw up.
Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between, here are your new best friends. They're your
It's
hosts,
very exciting for me because this is the best show ever made.
Dale and Scott.
Here we go. Here we go. Starting a new show. Boobies. Boobies. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Swish Edition. It's the penultimate episode. Scott can't pronounce things.
Can't even say.
Episode 410 for July 18th. Recording this on July 18th. So that's kind of fun. And no, Marcy, we're not drinking. All we've had is coffee. Hey, you know that the Hallmark Channel got super, super famous when they started making all those Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And there are amazing fans out there who live, breathe
All
Christmas
day,
movies
Hallmark.
all day for
Holiday,
months and
yeah.
months and months out of the year. Yeah. Anyway, now the Hallmark Channel is launching a Christmas cruise. Hallmark Channel Christmas cruise. You want to go?
No.
It's still over a year away. It's going to be November 5th through 9th, 2024 out of Miami on the Norwegian Gem, which I think is one of their smaller ships. It's going to go to Nassau and yeah, Nassau's probably one of the worst places on Earth as a cruise destination. Anyway, highlights will include Light the Night sail away ceremony with a tree lighting. There'll be photo ops and behind-the-scenes panels with Hallmark Channel stars, cookie decorating, Christmas karaoke.
I like that. Christmas karaoke.
I like that. Ugly sweater contest and more. It's kind of fun.
This could probably be something that could do really well.
How much you want to bet it sells out really quickly?
Yeah.
Tickets go on sale this week on July 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern. Why did they pick 2 p.m. Eastern? That's weird. I guess so people could do it right after they get back from lunch or
Gotta
something.
start sometime.
Yeah. Speaking of events for people that are
Why
crazy
is there a bike
fans.
chain on your desk?
Why is there what?
A bike chain.
It's not a bike. Yes, it is a bike chain that was made into
Oh, I see now.
into a snake.
Okay.
It's just a little doodad that you can play with while you're working. Anyway, back to events. If you guys were fans of the show Beverly Hills 90210, the original, which I was, most of the cast members are getting together for a panel at 90s Con down in Tampa, Florida.
Ooh.
It's happening September 16th and 17th. And guess what? We can't go.
Yay.
We're going to be on our way to Alaska that day. Anyway, Shannon Doherty, Tori Spelling, Jason Priestley, Jenny Garth, Brian Austin Green, who's one of the cutest guys on earth, Ian Ziering, and Gabrielle Cateras will all be together again for this.
Remember when Brian Austin Green tried to have a rap career?
He did. It didn't work out very well. He's done some cool things since then, though.
Yeah.
He's mostly doing like kind of B movies right now, I think. I don't think he's on a show, but anyway. So if you guys are into 90210, you can go to get yourself to Tampa. You know?
Yeah. I don't want to go.
No, we're not going. We're going to Seattle instead to get on a cruise. We're going on a Christmas cruise. This is crazy. This comes from the Crazy But True files, and I don't even know how someone like Aretha Franklin, who was at the top of her game most of her career, had most likely had millions and millions of dollars, So there's this whole controversy. You saw this, right?
No.
They found a handwritten will under the couch cushion in her house.
Wow.
And, you would think that someone like Aretha Franklin would have like real lawyers that would draw up like real documents, but she wrote her own will and stuffed it under the couch. Which is so... Isn't that bizarre?
It's really weird.
While she was young, she was probably watching Young and the Restless at the time. She was a huge Young and the Restless fan.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. Anyway, she died in 2018, and ever since then, her two sons have been fighting back and forth for her money. And a jury just this past Tuesday decided that the will that they found under the couch, the one that was written apparently in 2014, supersedes the official one from 2010.
Wow.
So I don't know which son's getting the bulk of her money, but it's one over the other, I guess.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Kind of crazy.
That means one of them took care of her when she needed it, and the other one didn't.
Probably forced her to write the damn thing. Write it, Mama, write it. If this doesn't tell you everything you know about the current state of Twitter, which they just announced this morning has lost 50% of their ad revenue lately. There was an article on Deadline, or something happened. I don't remember what the issue was, but Deadline reached out to Twitter for comment on something that was going on with the company. And they immediately got an auto reply email back with nothing in it but the poop emoji. So that's what Twitter thinks about the press.
Uh-oh.
Their comment is nothing but a poop.
Poop.
Yeah. I'm not sure why my phone is making noise when I put it on silent, but
I know.
I did the focus thing.
Yeah, because it says that you're on focus.
Yeah, it's my dad texting me.
Oh.
All right, so my dad asked me if I want him to buy me a $1 billion Powerball ticket.
Yes.
He said he's buying one for himself. The reason my dad is doing this is because the last time it got up to close to $1 billion, I asked him to buy me one because Dale and I can't buy them here in Nevada. It's one of only a handful of states where we don't have the lottery.
Yeah.
So unless we get in the car and drive to California or Arizona, we're shit out of luck. But luckily, my dad lives in Virginia, and they sell them there.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
I don't want to go to either one of those places right now.
But I don't know if I ever told you the story before, but my dad is he buys it, and then he immediately sends me a photo of it so I know which ticket is mine. Yeah. I love it. He's always thinking about that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the news stories. Mark Zuckerberg is apparently really in hard training for his eventual Elon Musk cage match. Which
Have you seen his shirtless photos?
I had no idea.
He's like kind of ripped.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I guess he doesn't just sit at a computer all day. Meanwhile, Elon Musk's mother, May, you've probably seen her. She's a really pretty older fashion model woman. She said in a recent interview that the whole thing is stupid and she's going to put a stop to it.
It is stupid, but people would watch. People would certainly watch.
Oh, it's going to be huge. I think
and it has to be done here.
And if they do pay-per-view, will we buy it?
Yes. Yes.
It's going to be a total shit show. Speaking of shit shows, you heard about the White House in Washington, D.C. finding a small bag of cocaine in the West Wing, right?
Yeah, this story is just so weird.
There was this chick on, I don't know if this was Twitter or what, but she wrote, "You cannot call him Sleepy Joe and be mad he has cocaine. Do you want him to wake up or not?"
That is funny.
I think that's really funny. I don't think it was his. I think it was someone who was taking a tour because they found it on a weekend when the president wasn't even there.
He got scared.
It either fell out of someone's pocket or someone ditched it because they were afraid they were going to get caught. Yeah. I mean, a little bag of cocaine doesn't show up when you go through the metal detector.
No.
You know, I don't know why, honestly, in this day and age, I don't know why we let the random public go into the White House at all.
I am very surprised.
I think tourists should. I realize it's America's house, but no. No. Keep them out. Keep them out.
I have done it.
I used to work there, so I've done it too.
Yeah.
CBS. I want to talk about streaming. It's obviously a lot in the news lately, but this is something very curious to me, and I wonder why CBS is doing this, because you would think that it would hurt their subscriber numbers. CBS has decided to put Yellowstone, which is one of the biggest shows on TV right now, on their fall schedule on the broadcast network. So starting this September, they're going to start showing it from the beginning. Obviously, they're going to have to edit it heavily because it was made for cable and streaming. It wasn't made for broadcast network.
Right.
They're also taking SEAL Team off of Paramount Plus and bringing it back to the network. It was originally on CBS.
Right.
It was moved to Paramount.
Right.
For seasons 5 and 6, and now it's coming back. So I guess they're doing this because they know they're not going to have any new stuff to show this fall except for reality shows, right?
Well, it could also be a ploy that if you can get people into it, say, "Hey, this is really good," and maybe I'll end up paying.
Yeah, if you want to see the unedited version, you got to
watch the new stuff
watch it
when
on
it comes
streamers, right? Also, in the news just this morning, Peacock is phasing in their first price hike in 3 years. It's going up only by $1 for the ad version and only $2 a month for the Premium Plus version, which I think we have. So it's only going to be $11.99 for Premium Plus. I still think it's a pretty good deal. I watch it all the time because I watch all my Bravo shows on Peacock because I never watch them when they're actually on.
So we added up not too long ago. We were interested in what we were paying for streaming. And I think it turned out to be like $70 for all the stuff that we have.
I don't think that's too much.
I don't think that's a lot.
People complain about these prices, but you're getting a lot. And with people cord cutting and getting rid of their cable, then $70 is not bad. You were paying at least that much for cable,
right?
Anyway, I didn't know this. Also saw this in the news this morning. Comcast is negotiating with Disney right now to sell their stake in Hulu. Apparently, the company, which owns NBC, still owns 1/3 of Hulu. So if Disney buys them out, Hulu will just be Disney. And then I wonder if it'll just go away. It'll probably just be all the Hulu content will just be put into Disney Plus, right?
I mean, that would make sense.
Why have two?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. So we'll see what happens. So lots of things changing with streaming. I don't really talk about award shows much, but the Emmy Awards did come out last week, the nominations. Some of your favorite people and some of our favorite shows were nominated, especially in the Best Actor category.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the actors from Succession are up against each other. Brian Cox, Jeremy Strong, and Kieran Culkin. Which I think says to me that none of them will win. Because if you're a huge Succession fan, they're going to split the vote.
Right, how do you pick?
Right?
Yeah.
The other 3 that are up is Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, which is one of your favorite shows. Pedro Pascal for The Last of Us.
And just pause right there. I just read this morning that due to this writers and actors strike, that the next season 2 of The Last of Us will likely not premiere until the end of 2025.
2025?
Yep.
Of course, because he's also involved in The Mandalorian, so he's got that to do.
Yeah, 2025.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, well, we might not remember what happened. We'll have to watch the whole first season again.
I know.
This writer strike sucks, but we're going to talk about that more in a minute. And then the last guy who was nominated is Jeff Bridges, who I've always loved, for a show that I'd never even heard of. It's called The Old Man on FX. And it looks kind of cool. He plays a former CIA operative who's been living off the grid in Vermont. But then some killer comes into his house and he goes on the run with Amy Brenneman. Remember her from TV?
No.
She played some kind of lawyer. I don't know. I can't remember the name of her show. Anyway, I want to check it out. I think that looks kind of fun.
It's called Old Man?
It's called The Old Man. It's on FX. So I assume we have it on some streamer.
Yeah, I'll have to look for it.
Yeah. Anyway, so we'll see what happens. I don't even know if the Emmys are actually happening with this whole strike thing. So, I mean, they'll happen, but I don't know if they'll be an actual show.
Right.
We'll talk about more of that in a minute. But we got to talk about the huge news that came out of Vegas just this past yesterday. It was yesterday. Marriott and MGM Resorts International got together and announced a new 20-year licensing and loyalty marketing agreement. And this is actually pretty cool for us.
Yeah.
Because we're huge Marriott Bonvoy members. We have something like 200, 300,000 points.
Yeah.
We have not paid for a hotel room in years because we always use points. And we have their credit card, so every time we use the credit card, we get more points, and that's how we have so many. Anyway, now MGM resorts all over the country are part of the Bonvoy program, which I think is great.
I think it's cool.
So people coming to Vegas, you can use your Marriott points to stay at Bellagio, Aria, the Cosmo, at Park MGM, all of them here in Vegas. It's gonna be
Even
pretty.
New York, New York.
Even New York, New York. Now, different ones are members of different collections that Bonvoy has. So the nicer ones like Bellagio and Aria will be part of the luxury collection. Cosmo was already part of the autograph collection. And then it steps down from there.
And New York and Luxor is like Super 8.
Yeah. No, they don't own Super 8. They do have 30 brands though. Did you know how many brands they have?
I knew it was a lot. I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah, look at this. I mean, they own the St. Regis hotels, they own W, they own Ritz-Carlton. I mean, so many. Anyway, Westin, lots of great hotels.
They're all nice.
They're all nice.
All residents in.
Yeah. I don't know how nice that is. Anyway, we're excited about it. And it's all the buzz over at...
well, it's a big deal.
Yeah, we were at Mandalay Bay last night having dinner, and people were talking about it. Speaking of Vegas and performances here in Vegas, Miranda Lambert is in the middle of a residency right now at the Bach Theater at Planet Hollywood. She stopped the show abruptly. She was right in the middle of singing a song. It was her... song Tin Man, apparently, which was a hit for her in 2016. She stopped. She apologized to the band. She pointed at some girls in the front row and said, "I'm going to stop right here for a second. I'm sorry. These girls are worried about their selfie and not listening to the song." She says, "It's pissing me off a little bit."
Oh.
She says, "We're here to hear some country music tonight. I'm singing some country damn music." Should artists on stage be pissed off at someone taking pictures?
No.
If they're allowing cameras in their theater?
No.
Now, obviously, we talked about this on the show before. There are a lot of artists that don't allow cameras. You have to get one of those
Little bags.
Yoda boxes or whatever.
Yeah.
Lock your camera away. So, Miranda, either suck it up. People take pictures at theaters.
Right.
At shows. That's what happens. If you don't want that to happen... Don't allow phone.
Right.
So,
right.
I think she's a little off her rocker. Apparently, she did this a couple years ago. She did the same thing. Stopped the same song, Tin Man, because people were talking. And she's like, "Would you please stop talking and listen to me sing?" I think this reminds me of the David Copperfield issue.
Yes, maybe like force clapping.
He wasn't happy that the audience wasn't clapping enough, so he like egged it on. And that's... Ew, that left me with such an icky feeling.
Yeah.
And I really like him, but he needs to not do that.
Right.
It's tacky. It's very tacky.
Like, come on, guys. Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah. So, of course, everyone has their opinion about the writers and actors strike happening in Hollywood right now. And people are like, "Oh, they make so much money. How dare they?" Well, most of them don't. Just like most of America, only about 1% of them make a decent amount of money. We're not talking about Tom Cruise. We're not talking about the J-Lo. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about all the other people that work behind the scenes or have small parts. You know, they're hardly making enough money to get by. That's what they're fighting against. And then the other big thing they're fighting about is they're not getting paid for all these streaming views. When movies and TV episodes are streamed by millions and millions of people, they're not getting anything.
But isn't that part of the union's fault too? They're the ones who go in and negotiate this stuff, right?
Yeah,
for everyone, on behalf of the actors.
We didn't see it coming. Nobody knew streaming would be a thing when the last contract was negotiated. Yeah. It wasn't a thing. I mean, think about it. We had no idea that something like this was coming, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, there was a great post by someone named Alexa Sachs from Los Angeles about why tech companies are destroying the industry. And it's really true. I mean, it's happened. And so she gave some examples of what's happening. So her example number one was Spotify. Instead of paying 99 cents a song, which we were all doing before Spotify came along, it's now $12 a month for unlimited music. That means no artist can make money on records anymore. And it's true. Apple followed suit and Sirius followed suit and everybody. Yeah. And now you pay one low price for all the shit you want.
Right.
And now artists have to go on the road and they have to sell merchandise because that's the only way they're making any money. They're not making money when you listen to Vogue.
Yeah, because I think there was a great post from Snoop Dogg and said that he was baffled that he was like, how in the world can a song get 1 billion streams and the artist doesn't make $1 million?
Right. I know. It's crazy.
That's baffling.
It's just not.
You would think they would make something like that.
But why did the artists agree to this in the first place? Why did they say, "Oh yes, Apple"?
Because that goes back to it's not them. This stuff is being negotiated. You know, like the ASCAP, what was it, B something? There's like 3 of them.
BMI.
Those are the ones that are negotiating these things.
Yeah. Well, the recording artists got totally screwed. And that's why the actors and the writers are complaining now, because they're getting totally screwed.
Right.
By the big companies.
So ASCAP and BMI and this other one need to say, hey, we're raising the rates.
Yeah. Well, Alex has some other examples here, and we've seen it happen. It's happened to us.
So that goes to my point, is that you can't blame Spotify.
No.
If they're paying the negotiated rates. These people need to talk to their unions. You don't blame Spotify.
That's the whole point of this. But they are blaming the companies like Spotify
But that's wrong.
And MGM and Sony and all the companies that are now holding them hostage by giving the consumer a sweetheart deal, which is not covering the cost of the product that they're delivering.
But they have to pay the cost. Right? If
they're not doing it.
ASCAP has said
they're not sharing the love.
You owe me 3 cents for one stream of the song. That's what they have to pay. No one's going to pay. Oh, I feel bad. It should be more. Here's 10 cents for this.
I
song.
get what you're saying, but that's why all these unions are fighting and trying to change the rules, because they're not making enough money under these new schemes that the big companies are rolling out.
That argument still makes no sense to me, because if you're going to pay $12 a month for unlimited music, that dollar amount, I'm sure someone at Spotify has thought about this, is hey, under these rules of this, how much it costs to play this song, I should be able to make money for $12 a month.
But they're not passing it. That money is not getting passed on to the artists like it used to in the old scheme where you paid per song. I'm telling you that the artists.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's not Spotify. It's not Apple Music's fault.
It's their fault, because they're the ones that came up with this one price for unlimited stuff concept.
Right, but they're not paying negotiated deals that these artists are forced to sign up for royalties.
Yes, that is true.
So
you're missing my point. I'm saying that because the models have changed since these last negotiating contracts were in place, the artists are making a hell of a lot less money now. That's what I'm saying. That's what they're trying to do, and to renegotiate these contracts. Stop. You've said it 10 times. We get it.
You keep saying the wrong thing.
I'm not saying it wrong. I'm just saying something different. I wanted to get through my other examples.
Go ahead.
Uber. She says, let's make taxi rides for anyone at any time for $15. That was Uber's original concept. Now, 10 years later, suddenly your Uber costs $90 to go across town. And we've experienced that. It's getting more and more expensive to go in rideshare.
Well, yeah, because of demand. I mean, what's it called with the surge pricing?
Yeah.
You know, if there's a big game in town and everyone is all at the same time trying to get to the same place.
So it makes you want to just go back to a regular old taxi cab.
Maybe.
Her other example is DoorDash and Uber Eats, those kind of companies. It's the same story. Let's destroy the bottom line of restaurants. I don't know if that's a good example. That's a dumb one. That doesn't even make sense with her. Forget I said that one. But then we get down to the streamers, and what we're talking about is, these companies are giving you these blockbuster movies and amazing new series, but they're not paying the residual to the actors. The actors aren't making any money off the streaming business model, and that's why the writers and that's why the actors are on strike right now.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm a huge capitalist, and I want this to work, But they got to figure it out, and they will figure it out because the big corporations are going to be forced to cave at some point because they're going to have to start producing more content if they want people to sign up for their streaming services. So they're going to have to pay people more money. But what's going to happen? Either streaming prices are going to go up, which they probably will have to,
Right.
or they're going to produce a hell of a lot less content,
Right.
Because they're going to have to pay more people more money. So, they're going to find a way. This always happens, and I don't understand why people don't understand it. When things cost more, the companies are going to pass that on to the consumer.
Of course.
They're not just going to eat it because their business, the CEO of all these big companies, their bottom line job is to make more money for their shareholders.
Right, of course.
That's how the world works.
And going back to like your number one, I do think it's a crime that we're paying, $10 a month for whatever service you use, Apple Music, for unlimited music.
Right.
It should be way more than that.
I think it should be, and that was my
You
point.
basically have the world's entire music catalog for $10 a month.
So basically, this whole section of the show is this is unsustainable. This business model that we've all been taking advantage of, I guess, it's not because it's cheap and or free right now. It's just not sustainable. These people that are creating the content that we're so greedily consuming for a low price, somebody's got to pay for it eventually.
Right.
So I think we're going to see some big changes over the next couple of years.
And if that does, I also think the amount of streamers will, because right now it's really diluted. It's spread out. There's way too many.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to start seeing like the Paramount and Showtimes coming in as one.
Yeah.
HBO and Discovery now all one.
And it's going to be more money. It's going to cost more.
Yeah.
And I think we'll also see the time between movies coming out at the movie theater and the time they show up on streamers get longer.
And that was the other thing too. So for example, we have subscribed to HBO Max and Discovery. And then when HBO Max consumed Discovery and put all their content on HBO Max, we're getting it free with AT&T. Nothing changed.
Right.
Like there was no price increase. So you have to cancel one, and now you're saving money. You're saving $10 a month because you don't have to pay an extra $10 a month for Discovery Plus.
Right. You would think the cost would have gone up.
It would have doubled.
Yeah.
Same thing with Paramount and Showtime. We were getting both for $10 and still are.
Yeah.
Because we were grandfathered in.
Well, I think we'll find that like the Barbie movie and Oppenheimer and Indiana Jones, all the big movies that are at the theaters this week, I think it's going to be a long time before they're on the streamers or free for us to watch on our TV. I think we're going to either have to rent them, buy them, or wait a hell of a lot of time before it's streaming for free.
Right.
I think we're going to see that timeline get a lot longer.
Okay, and I can actually see that. So take Disney, for example, and they did this during COVID. You pay $10 a month for all their content, and then you have like, I don't know, what's The Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
When it's done with the theaters, it should be available on streaming, but you should pay like what you would pay a DVD price for.
I think we're going to
pay
see
$10 or $15 extra
to be able to watch it
until it comes for free.
Yeah. There you go. First your money, then your clothes. I think that's enough for today.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of ranting and yelling at each other. Speaking of movies, that Disney's Haunted Mansion redo is coming out July 28th. That's a week from Friday. They got some clever marketing going on right now. If you guys go over to Zillow, you can find the Haunted Mansion listed for sale. It's kind of fun, and it lists all the things. Did you know it's 13,195 square feet?
Holy moly.
It's located in New Orleans Square, just minutes from downtown. It's got a library filled with spooky ghosts, a foyer with scary statues, a ballroom with ghostly soirees. Anyway, looks kind of fun, and you can buy it.
Let's do it.
The movie is fun. It's got a bunch of great people in it. Tiffany Haddish, Danny DeVito, Rosario Dawson, Dan Levy, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Mary Lou Henner.
Hey, that's great.
It's an interesting group of people.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's out next week if you want to watch it. And if you want to buy the house, I guess you can buy it. I don't think you really can buy it. I think it's kind of in the middle of a theme park.
Oh, yeah.
People ride through it every day. All right, that's all I got. You got anything else?
I have nothing, man.
Okay, let's go away then.
Bye.
See you guys next week for the last episode of the Swish Edition. Do you want him to wake up or not?